Are you ready to hear the spine-tingling adventures of Sarah and her daughter Emily? Imagine venturing into a haunted hotel in Las Vegas, where eerie whispers and ghostly figures test their nerves. Or picture them in an old-school library, where a photograph and an ancient mystery bring the past alarmingly close to the present. And what about a birthday party in a Victorian mansion turned thrilling when an unexpected storm reveals hidden secrets? Join mother and daughter as they navigate these mysterious encounters that challenge their understanding of reality. Will you dare to uncover what lurks in the shadows alongside them? Once there was a single mother named Sarah and her young daughter Emily, who decided to go on a much-needed vacation to Las Vegas. They were excited about the trip, envisioning bright lights, exciting shows, and a break from their routine life back home. After a long drive through the desert, they finally arrived in Las Vegas as the sun was setting. They checked into a quaint hotel off the main strip that had been recommended for its charm and affordability. It was an older building with a glamorous 1950s facade and an air of faded elegance. Their first night in the city, they decided to explore the bustling nightlife. They walked through the lively streets, enjoyed a magic show, and had dinner at a popular restaurant. By the time they returned to their hotel, it was past midnight, and the corridors of the hotel seemed unusually quiet and dimly lit. As they approached their room, Sarah fumbled with the keys, feeling a sudden chill despite the warm night air. Once inside, they prepared for bed, but Emily complained she felt uneasy, as if someone was watching them. Sarah reassured her, attributing the eerie feeling to their tiredness and the new surroundings. In the middle of the night, Sarah woke up to the sound of whispers. At first, she thought she was dreaming, but then she heard Emily's voice in a frightened whisper. "Mommy, do you hear that?" The whispers seemed to be coming from the bathroom. Stealing her nerves, Sarah got up to check, only to find the bathroom empty and the sounds mysteriously gone. Unable to sleep, they both sat up in bed, listening to the unsettling silence of the hotel. Suddenly, the television flickered to life, cycling rapidly through static-filled channels without either of them touching the remote. Sarah tried to turn it off, but the TV seemed to have a mind of its own. As she wrestled with the remote, Emily pointed towards the window, her face white with terror. "Look!" she squealed. Outside their window on the 5th floor was the silhouette of a person staring in at them, unmoving and seemingly floating in mid-air. Sarah, heart-pounding, grabbed Emily and dialed the hotel reception, but the line was dead. With no other choice, they packed their things and rushed out of the room. The hallway was chillingly cold, and as they hurried towards the elevator, the lights flickered eerily. They pressed the elevator button frantically, jumping when they finally heard the ding of its arrival. In the safety of the elevator, as they descended, Emily whispered, "Mommy, the picture in our room, the lady was crying in it, but only at night." Sarah, shaken, held her daughter close, vowing never to return. The next morning, they checked into a different hotel, and later, Sarah learned from a local that their original hotel was rumored to be haunted by the ghost of a woman who had tragically died there in the 1950s. The locals said she was often seen by children, and that strange occurrences were frequent in rooms she favored. Sarah and Emily tried to enjoy the rest of their vacation, but the shadow of that night lingered with them long after they returned home. A few months after their unsettling experience in Las Vegas, Sarah and her daughter Emily tried to settle back into their routine. Emily was a bright and cheerful third grader at a local elementary school that had been around since the early 1900s. It was a charming old building, beloved for its wide, echoing hallways and large, sunny classrooms. However, Emily had always felt uneasy about the school's library. One late autumn afternoon, Emily's class was scheduled to have their weekly library time. As the children filed in, the librarian, Miss Griffin, a kind elderly woman who knew every book by heart, assigned them a project on local history. The students scattered around the room, pulling books from shelves and spreading out at tables. Emily, feeling adventurous, decided to explore a section of the library she hadn't visited before, the old archives room. It was a small, dusty room at the back of the library, rarely used, filled with ancient books and old issues of school newspapers. As she browsed through the stacks, Emily found a large, leather-bound book that caught her attention. It was an old yearbook from when the school first opened. Excitedly, she dragged it to a nearby table and began to flip through the pages. As she turned the pages, she stumbled upon a photo of a class from 1910. In the photo, a girl who looked remarkably like Emily stared back at her, her expression solemn. Chilled but intrigued, Emily read the name under the photo, Emma L. She quickly grabbed a few more yearbooks to see if she could find more about this girl, but Emma appeared in only one other yearbook before disappearing from the records. Feeling a presence behind her, Emily turned around to see Ms. Griffin standing there with a concerned look. "This room isn't really for students," she said gently. "But since you're here, did you find something interesting?" Emily showed her the photo of Emma, and Ms. Griffin's face grew pale. "You look just like her," she murmured, then seemed to decide something. "Come with me," she said. They went to her office, where Ms. Griffin pulled out an old faded newspaper clipping from a locked drawer. It told the story of Emma L., a student who had mysteriously disappeared from school one winter day. She was last seen in the library, and despite extensive searches, she was never found. The story deeply unsettled Emily, who suddenly felt a connection with this girl from the past. Miss Griffin watched her read and then said softly, "Sometimes on quiet days, I think I can hear her. Some say she's still looking for a way back home." From that day on, Emily couldn't shake off the feeling that eyes were watching her whenever she was in the library. She and Sarah would sometimes talk about Emma, wondering about the mysteries of the past and how closely the present could be tied to it. The experience bonded Emily and Sarah even more, as they both understood the thin veil between the ordinary and the inexplicable. It also made Emily more curious about history, turning her into an avid reader, albeit with a new sense of respect and a touch of wariness towards the secrets old buildings held. On Emily's 10th birthday, Sarah decided to throw a special party for her. Something more intimate yet memorable than the usual festivities. She rented an old Victorian house that was often used for events and parties, known for its beautiful gardens and enchanting antique-filled rooms. The house had a certain grandeur and mystique, making it the perfect setting for a birthday celebration. Sarah and Emily arrived early to decorate. They adorned the rooms with balloons, streamers, and lights, giving the old house a festive, cheerful atmosphere. By the time the guests began to arrive, the place was transformed into a lively, welcoming party venue. The party went off without a hitch for the first few hours. The children played games in the garden, enjoyed a magic show, and were just sitting down to eat cake in the main dining room when a sudden rainstorm began. The skies darkened and heavy raindrops drummed against the windows, forcing everyone inside. As Sarah gathered the children to start a game of treasure hunt inside the house, Emily noticed a small door under the staircase that she hadn't seen before. Curious, she asked Sarah about it. Sarah, equally intrigued, decided it could be a fun addition to their treasure hunt, pretending it might lead to a secret treasure room. With a group of Emily's friends, they opened the door. It revealed a narrow, creaky staircase leading down into what looked like a cellar. The children, fueled by excitement and the thrill of adventure, begged to explore it. Sarah, a little hesitant, agreed, but insisted that everyone stay together and use flashlights. The cellar was cool and musty, filled with old furniture covered in dusty sheets and boxes stacked haphazardly. As they ventured deeper, Emily noticed a beautifully carved music box sitting atop a trunk. Overcome with curiosity, she opened it, and a soft, melancholy tune filled the air. The children fell silent, mesmerized by the music. Just then, the cellar door slammed shut above them, plunging them into darkness except for their dimming flashlights. Panicked screams erupted, but Sarah quickly calmed everyone, assuring them it was just the wind. She led the group back upstairs, pushing against the door, which thankfully swung open easily. Back in the safety of the lighted dining room, Sarah tried to lighten the mood, joking about the ghost of the house not wanting to share its treasures. The party resumed with laughter and stories about their brief scare, but Emily kept thinking about the music box. When it was time to leave, she asked the owner about it. The owner, an elderly lady, smiled wistfully and explained that the music box had belonged to her grandmother, who had always said it was magical. It was meant to grant a wish to the person who found it on a stormy night. Amused and a bit skeptical, Emily wished for a birthday remembered by all her friends as the most exciting one. True to the music box's legend, that birthday became a favorite tale among Emily's friends. They talked for years about the adventure in the haunted house, the mystery of the hidden cellar, and the enchanting melody that seemed to weave a spell of bravery and camaraderie among them. Emily kept the memory close, a reminder of her magical, mysterious 10th birthday.